Climate change affects everyone. With the European Green Deal, the EU has committed to become the world's first climate-neutral continent by 2050 and to accelerate the clean energy transition, creating growth and jobs right here in Europe.
The European Green Deal is our blueprint to become the first climate-neutral continent in 2050.
For some, however, this transition will require more efforts. Regions with ongoing activities in coal, peat or oil shale have communities and local economies tied up in fossil fuels and need support to transition in a way that leaves no one behind.
And we have a solemn promise to leave no one behind in this transformation. We will support the regions that have a bigger and more costly change to make.
One of these regions is Asturias in Spain. Asturias' coal tradition dates back to the 16th century. Spain's first licence to mine coal was granted by King Philip II in 1593 in the small coastal town of Arneo. Slowly but surely, coal activity attracted industries and businesses from all over the country. Coal helped Asturias go from an isolated region in the 1500s to an industrial hub in the 20th century.
Coal has been not only in the center of our economy, but also on the social, on the technological, on the environmental life of the region. There is a respect in the coal areas that I would say it's almost religious. The landscape is mining, even the noises and smells have been mining. And the industry of coal was developed specifically during the second half of the 18th century. And from there on, the whole development of the regional industry has been linked to coal.
Asturias creció con tres vectores muy importantes, ¿no? Que era el carbón, la siderurgia y la energía principalmente, ¿no? Porque Asturias es una comunidad autónoma muy industrial, pues tanto el carbón como la siderurgia en un principio fueron fuente muy importante de desarrollo, ¿no? El carbón hubo años en el que pues igual estamos hablando de más de 50.000 trabajadores, ¿no? Ya hablamos de los años 60, los años 70.
If we say that the distinctive feature of Asturias is its industrial character, we have to add that this was possible thanks to the development of coal mining. The existence of the coal industry brought with it the installation of a powerful metal transformation industry, chemicals. The Bayer company manufactures in Asturias all the active principle of aspirin that is sells all over the world, and its location here is due to the use in the past of coal byproducts. More railway lines were built, also linked the basins with the coast and the plateau. Different mining railways were built that crossed the valleys transporting mineral.
We know that the industrial base of Asturias includes many energy-intensive activities, and that these rely on the availability, the reliability, and the quality of energy supplies in the region.
So as a result of all this evolution, industry nowadays is a very important part of the GDP of the region. We have a GDP higher than 20%, and this is because of coal. We are an industrial region, and so we must remain. So I would say that coal is really in the center of everything.
Industry accounts for approximately 20% of the region's GDP, with coal being the main driver. By the end of 2019, Asturias had 5 coal thermal power stations. Asturias's coal power production will drop by 75% in 1 year, and its industry is under significant stress. At one point, Asturias had 50,000 people employed in the coal sector. In the 2000s, that number was just 9,000, and today it's around 800 workers. Furthermore, 14% of the employment in Asturias is affected by coal energy and related industries.
As an average, this intensive industry is 20% of the gross development product of the region. So there is a very close interrelationship that we cannot separate one from the others.
But it is very important to highlight the effect in the coal energy industry and the electro-intensive industry, where the impact is relevant.
Estamos a este momento con el sector en liquidación, con las empresas en concurso de acreedores y con la necesidad de hacer una protección sobre los trabajadores, ¿no? Por tanto, el carbón fue una pieza fundamental en el desarrollo de Asturias y de las comarcas mineras, y acabó de una manera totalmente abrupta.
It's not so much a matter of how many employees we are losing, but of the speed at which we are losing this employment without the possibilities of replacing them. And also because there is a very important issue, which is the location of this employment in areas where it's not so easy to replace them.
It's not only transition or energy transition that is the challenge to the region, but like all regions in Europe, there are generic challenges. There is the challenge of digitalization, there's the challenge of the Industry 4.0 agenda, plus let us not forget the very significant challenge of recovery from the pandemic, from COVID-19. So Asturias has a range of challenges, interacting challenges that are complex and significant that it must address in order to ensure a successful process of economic development in the coming years.
The EU and its regions are committed to ensuring a just transition for its coal, peat and oil shale regions and communities. With the Just Transition Mechanism and Fund, the EU will mobilise up to €100 billion to support new investments in those areas most affected by the transition to climate neutrality.
It's a real phase out of the economy, and I always say that this transition is not because of economic or technical reasons. We still have resources, and our plans were even adapted to the European environmental laws. But as I'm saying, of decisions and environmental objectives that we must fulfill. And of course, we agree with that.
Coal regions across Europe are more affected in the short term than many other types of region in this process of transition. It is only fair that these same regions actually benefit from European support in an asymmetric fashion, i.e. resources should be targeted to coal regions undergoing transition.
We need to focus the resources on those who really need those resources. So I'm very concerned on not diluting this money or this funding and capabilities. So if we want to help regions in transition, we need to make a difference. That's why we have to ask for the additionality of the Just Transition Fund to other funds existing, because if not, there won't be this difference between regions in transition and the rest of Europe, especially in a moment where the recovery plans are going to help all the regions, and that is really important. And of course, we agree with that, but we need some additionality of this funding to the already existing funding, so that the projects and the reactivation of these areas is a reality.
Hay dinero, ¿no? Y hay proyectos. Lo que quizá debemos engranar son entre el dinero y los proyectos los tiempos, ¿no? Y esa agilidad o esas barreras administrativas, bueno, pues la tendencia a que sean menores, teniendo todos los filtros y todas las seguridades que haya que tener, pero quizá los tiempos, ¿no? de poder, desde que nace un proyecto hasta que se empieza a ver algo, pues pasa excesivo tiempo, a mi juicio, ¿no?
So we are very happy with these, let's say, different tools they are providing us with in the technical part, in the strategy developments, in the structural changes, and in the help for projects. And if we take a look at what we have now and what we need, or what we expect, I would like to say that we require mainly two things: funding and tools. And I'm not so worried by funding, because the recovery plan is there and the Just Transition Plan is there or will be there.
We are pleased that the European Commission has put in place the Just Transition Mechanism, recognizing the unique challenges of coal regions. And we are confident that the Just Transition Mechanism and the Just Transition Fund will play a meaningful role in the process of transition and diversification in Asturias.
We know who we are miners, and I always say that because it's true. We are miners, and as I'm saying, we are based on coal. We know what we want, and we want to achieve this just transition from the coal-based economy towards diversification. This transition requires the help, the aid, and the company, let's say, of the European Union, of the national government.
The Just Transition platform continues the work of the initiative for coal regions in transition by providing an open platform for all stakeholders to exchange on common issues and good practices. Through the START programme, the Initiative for Coal Regions in Transition provides technical assistance to coal regions across Europe to support them develop plans and projects that implement the transition locally.
This assistance has been really important for us. First of all, we have learned a lot. We wanted to make this process, wanted to make a transition. We needed strategies to achieve the transition, and we had a lot of work done, but we had to wrap up this work we had done and to develop a very good strategy and to align it with Europe and with the national government.
The focus for our support to Asturias was on the development of an energy transition strategy document and on helping with the assessment of projects and actions to support the implementation of the strategy. Now, this energy transition strategy is one element in a broader portfolio of actions being undertaken in Asturias in response to the need for energy transition.
They help us to open up, to the other stakeholders of the region, not only the companies, which we were talking a lot with them, but also to the local authorities, to the local associations, to the business associations, to the unions. So they help us to develop this dialogue with the stakeholders and to develop these tools with them that, as I said, materialized in the Committee for the Just Transition in Asturias.
Asturias was already heavily engaged in a substantial consultation process to underpin the development of the regional energy strategy. And then we came in and were asked to support them in that, but in particular, we helped them to look at the underlying logic behind the energy transition strategy, the structure, and also to look at the approach for prioritization of actions and projects that would be integrated as part of the strategy, and also on the sequencing of actions.
They have helped us a lot to develop the strategy, the energy strategy itself, the document, which is the base for the Just Transition Plan in Asturias, and to align this document with Europe and with the national government.
Alongside that, we were also able to assist in terms of dialogue with the European Commission. And that was mainly aimed at ensuring that the region's energy transition strategy was aligned with European priorities, both in terms of the general approach to energy transition, but also looking at technology options and also looking at possible funding opportunities.
The region must address the economic, the industrial, and the labour market challenges of transition. And the region will address these challenges by building on the unique assets which the region has developed through its unique model of economic and industrial development.
Asturias, yo la conozco desde siempre como una comunidad autónoma industrial, como una región industrial, y me gustaría seguir viviendo una Asturias industrial, ¿no? La industria genera empleo estable y de calidad, que hace de tractor sobre otros sectores, como el sector servicios.
A region with an industrial and technological profile, which participates in the leadership of sectors such as renewable energy, including hydrogen, and the circular economy, taking advantage of all our industrial experience derived from coal. The blue economy, taking advantage of our marine resources, the agri-food industry, taking advantage of our natural resources and our brand of natural paradise, and the data economy, taking advantage of all our talent.
Asturias, and I always tell you, is a beautiful region with a natural beauty, which is the envy of the rest of the regions of Spain, let me say, with a high quality of life, with good infrastructures, with good highways, trains to ports, and we already have that, with a technical industrial network of incredible value too.
The region has a wide range of many assets that will be beneficial for the region in the future. These relate to knowledge and skills, research and education facilities at the higher education and further education levels, industrial infrastructure and physical infrastructure, and also a wide range of industrial processes. And key for the economic development process in the coming years, and a fundamental challenge, will be reconfiguring these assets that creates employment opportunities for many within the region and creates employment opportunities that are highly skilled and well paid.
A diversified industrial region based on innovation and knowledge in a sustainable natural environment.
I would like to see this same beautiful region with all these potentials turned to a new region from a coal-based economy towards a sustainable region with new activities, of course, industrial activities based to production related to the natural paradise that Asturias is, using our potential resources also, and taking advantage of all the opportunities and potentials we have, but also finding the tools to develop them and the accurate tools to achieve this future region.
With EU support and by working together in a true European spirit, coal regions across Europe can reinvent themselves and move ahead on the path towards climate neutrality for the benefit of all Europeans.